November 2022, a savage and shocking crime shattered the quiet college town of Moscow, Idaho. 4 students were brutally murdered, sparking a nationwide investigation that would expose a web of chilling clues and raise disturbing questions about the mind of the perpetrator. In this first part, we'll delve into what happened and how they found their prime suspect.
If ever your life could be a true crime podcast episode, then this podcast is for you. We're about to embark on a roller coaster of emotions, insights, survival, and stories about escape. So buckle up and let the journey begin.
Welcome back to the Escape Pod, everybody. This is a podcast for a cause about escaping all the things with proceeds to support One Heart. I'm Charity.
And I'm KB.
Hi, KB.
Hi.
I needed this time out today.
I do too. I was looking forward to it today.
I was too.
I'm I need to sit in that podcast studio with Charity and just...
I know, it was kind of nice doing it the once a week thing. That was the nice thing about it.
Yeah.
But
well, we kind of have been, actually. We've been doing it once a week. Yeah, for the last, I don't know how many weeks.
I don't know. Maybe I'm cramming so much in a week.
You are. You're super busy. It's kind of nuts.
Oh, yeah. So what are you skipping?
Lots of things. But I'll just say today, the wind... Holy moly, it's rude today.
Cold.
And I have to go get gas after this.
That's
which
the worst.
Really stinks.
Yes.
In the wind.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I've been wanting to take walks the last couple of days, and I headed out and made it about as far as the mailbox. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Yeah, it's you can't breathe because it's just
Just open your mouth a little bit.
It's horrible. So anyway, I'm hoping that it'll
chill the hell down, yeah.
Anyway, how about you? What are you escaping?
Well, cortisol. And honest to God, I am doing everything. Mm-hmm. L-theanine, ashwagandha. I'm freaking meditating. I'm trying to sleep, but that's not working. I'm doing everything I physically have any control over to try to mitigate it. And I now have learned that, cortisol overload, and I teach guests about this all the time, it can also induce nausea.
Oh,
so
okay.
I wake up in the morning feeling
nauseous.
This is the dominoes of, okay, I'm either going to have to say certain staff members can never ever take a vacation because shit rolls uphill.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'm doing their jobs. I can't do my job. And I'm the kind of person who is never behind.
Yeah.
And so I have been behind for the last 30 days. I don't handle it well.
Yeah.
Because...
No, it weighs on you.
It does.
Yeah.
So literally I have a deadline tomorrow for a really, really, really important, exciting grant. I got it in today.
Hey. I was hoping you would. So you could just...
But usually it's in at least a week or two ahead.
Yeah.
And I'm cannot do that again. So... It was just this whole thing. First I had a director ill, and then he gets back and then goes on vacation for 2 weeks. At the same time, another important manager is gone for his wedding. And so it was just...
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Doing all the jobs, and then one gets back, still waiting for the other one. My assistant's gone. And then my HR and finance director leaves next week for 2.5 weeks. I'm we're going to go through this again.
Are you ready to re-enter the workforce or find a career that actually fits? Or maybe you're an employer tired of noisy platforms that miss the mark? Try Focus, a smarter hiring tool that helps you cut through the noise and focus on what matters. Visit focus.work today. That's FOQUS.WORK.
Anyway.
Anywho, well, tell me what okay. I guess let's get into this.
Now, I will say for our listeners, we actually tried to record this one once and had to stop. This is a story that many of you are going to be familiar with because it's happened pretty recently. This was in 2022. And just recently this year, the shitbag that did all of this, I don't know, he was getting bullied in prison.
Oh.
I just feel so bad for him.
Karma.
And again, I think it's so much more. We always try to be very respectful of the survivors or victims and their families, especially if they're still here and have a chance of hearing it. Now that we have had a person we've done a story about who is on death row, hear our podcast.
Yeah.
Like that blew my mind, right? So I just want to really handle it delicately. I wrote this a number of months ago, many months ago actually, and I think it just ties to, we cover a lot this incel movement. We cover a lot misogyny. We've done a lot of stories of just these things that are identifiable in people, resulting in some of the most heinous, tragic crimes. And we know these things about these people. We see them, and we do nothing as a society because we don't think, oh, well, they're weird or they're this, so therefore it's going to result in murdering people. Like, that's hard for good human beings, rational, non-sociopathic human beings to think.
Yeah.
So we don't, and it's not like being negligent. It's just that, so I don't know, we have got to shift this, like, see something, say something.
Oh, yeah.
Notice something, say something. Can we put, for the love of God, like some kind of something in place where people are getting assessed for these things, whether it's through school, somebody's going to say, I'm sure I'm going to get notes, this is too invasive, it's blah, 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 blah. But like the tragedy I'm going to talk about, I just have to believe there's a way we can prevent this, because it is so heartbreaking. So this one's hard.
Well,
So I'm sorry. You want the Kleenex now?
it's right here. It's
Okay.
within reach. And I
Okay.
put one in my pocket already.
All right. I think I'm already getting, because I know what's to come, and God damn it, it's awful. All right. So November 13th, 2022, Moscow, Idaho. There were 5 roommates and a roommate's boyfriend. They'd all been out on, I'm laughing at Cara Beth, not you guys. Okay, or the story. They'd all been out on this college town, just kind of living it up. It was like the football team's final home game of the season. 21-year-olds Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves were at a local college bar. And then 20-year-olds Xana Kernodle and Xana's boyfriend Ethan Chapin were at a frat party. And then Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk were also out partying as well. So these are all roommates. All of the girls were roommates. Dylan and Bethany came home first around 1 a.m. Xana and Ethan came home next around 1:45 a.m. And then Kaylee and Maddie made it home after hitting up a food truck at almost 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:56 a.m. Okay.
Okay.
Remember those days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember those days.
Got to eat before you pass out.
They weren't really that long ago.
Really?
No, I was like,
Awesome for you. They were 30 freaking years ago for me. Okay.
they were like 20 years ago for me. 20 plus.
Don't tell anybody, though. All right. So around 4 a.m., someone broke into the girl's 6-bedroom, 3-story home by entering through a sliding glass door off the second-floor dining room.
Right there. This is why I don't like sliding glass doors. Period. I don't care what level they're on.
PSA.
Yeah. I don't like them.
Bust them out. Lock them up.
They're just too easy.
Bar them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
The perp first headed upstairs to the bedrooms on the 3rd floor. So he enters on the 2nd floor, goes up to the 3rd floor.
Okay.
It's clear he knew where he was going. And he entered the bedroom of Maddie Mogan. He unsheathed a fixed-blade hunting-style knife. He stabbed Maddie multiple times while she slept. And the commotion stirred her friend, her roommate, not really a roommate, but, well, kind of a roommate. I'll get to that in a minute. Her best friend in the world, though, Kaylee Gonsalves, who was sleeping beside her, and then he stabbed and killed her, too. So Kaylee had been one of the roommates. She was in the room across the hall from Maddie. She had already moved out. She was transferring to another school or graduating, one of the two. I can't remember because, like I said, I wrote these a while ago. And so she was just there staying the night. And these two have been inseparable for years and years and years, absolute best friends. And they died together.
That is really sad.
Now, at the same time, Dylan, so she's down on the 2nd floor. She kind of shouts up to the 3rd floor roommates, telling them, like, you know, what they've got something going on up there. Like, quiet the hell down, right? She doesn't know what's going on. She just thinks they're being
obnoxious,
rude, having fun, whatever. She says her piece, and then she locks herself in her room. At 4:12, Xana goes to the front door to get a DoorDash order. So she's still awake, and she's there with her boyfriend, Ethan. She has no idea what's going on upstairs.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay? Around this time, the intruder goes down a level and encounters Xana. And he stabs and kills her. She did put up a fight. There were defensive wounds. She wasn't sleeping.
Yeah,
so
she wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was awake.
And her boyfriend, Ethan, so this was kind of in a hallway right next to her bedroom door. Ethan must have heard something, wakes up. He goes to assist Xana, and the attacker stabs and kills him in the doorway to Xana's bedroom.
My goodness.
Now, as the perpetrator is leaving, Dylan, because she's hearing some things, opens her bedroom door yet again, thinking she's going to tell her roommates that's it, last warning, shut up. Due to the noise, she misinterprets as partying, and she sees a man wearing a ski mask. And here is where there are conflicting reports on what I had available to me, because some sources say at that moment, as she's reflecting, she thinks it's just a guess of some of the roommates. And in others, she freezes, feeling something is off, locks herself in her room. It's not clear if the suspect sees her or not, but I have heard in other podcasts done on this that he did see her and acknowledged her, because she later talks about his eyes and his eyebrows.
Oh.
But at any rate, he doesn't do anything to her. He leaves the home through the same dining room sliding glass door.
So he sees her.
Yes.
And then he's like, all right.
There's no way
I'm done. He's
see
like,
her.
four was enough. I guess that was my quota.
Maybe.
I'm going to go.
Yeah, maybe. So now we're at 4:22. Dylan and Bethany are in their rooms, and they begin texting upstairs to Kaylee and Maddie, like, hello, what's going on? And their texts, of course, are going unanswered. I'm guessing they think the girls finally passed out, or they just could not deal. Like, it's quiet now. Did I see what I saw? Remember, they'd all been drinking. They'd all been out partying. That does impair our judgment.
Right.
And I don't know. There's been a lot of...
So she didn't immediately call 911?
No.
So they're texting their friends instead.
Yep. Like, hey,
their
what's
judgment
up?
is impaired. They're not thinking
Are you
straight.
up? Yeah.
No answer. How long does this go on before?
Well, 10:23 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Dylan and Bethany, once again, they'd gone to sleep for a while. Now they're texting Maddie and Kaylee again. Are you up? Are you up? And, of course, they're not getting a response. So they start texting each other like they're freaked out. But now they're like, okay, we need to attempt to go lay eyes on our roommates. So here's why I think they inherently knew this was bigger than what they had the capacity to handle themselves, because they actually recruited a neighbor to come over because they're freaking out. They wouldn't go upstairs by themselves.
You know.
And they're down on the lower level.
Yeah.
Okay, so Xana's on the second floor. Maddie and Kaylee are on the third floor. The other ones are down.
I can relate, because I think, well, not personally, but years ago, and this is a completely different situation, one of my friends had gone a couple of days without reaching out to her mother-in-law, who was, she wasn't in the best health, but she wasn't like horribly sick either. Cut a long story short, she had gone a few days without speaking to her, calling her, and hadn't heard from her. And it kind of hit her one morning, and she was like, it's been like 4 or 5 days. I'm calling her. She's not answering. And she's like, called me, and she's like, I'm driving over there. And I just have this really awful feeling. Yeah. And she's like, I don't know what I'm going to find, but can you just come over? And like I said, there was nothing that would have given, it was a shock, but her mother-in-law had passed away. And, she ended up going up to look for her before I got there, but I was there to kind of catch her, like
maybe that's what
after.
This was.
And so I don't know if, because I think no one wants to see a loved one or a friend. I don't even want to see a stranger dead, to be honest with you.
Later that morning, they recruited a neighbor to come over. Together, they found Xana first in the hallway, close to her room, unresponsive. They called 911 at 11:58 a.m., so almost noon. But because everyone had been out partying the night before, they say the reporting say they thought she was just passed out at first.
How?
I don't know how this is possible.
The amount of blood from getting stabbed.
Right. I don't know if it was dark in the corridor. Like, I don't know. And I did listen to the 911 call. I will spare you. But it's just interesting. Like, they made no mention of the blood. Like you said, there's got to be blood. But they didn't mention seeing Ethan. And I could find nothing to indicate that they'd gone up to the third floor. I also wonder if perhaps the site was so horrific that their brains just like put up a protective, nothing to see here. We don't see any blood, it's just like, nope, she's just passed out. That's the conclusion we can accept, right? Again, dark hallway, I'm not sure. It's really hard to say, but I did think it was super strange that they made no mention of, and plus she's passed out there, not in her room.
No,
like,
there's so much weirdness to that.
It really was strange.
Well, and you don't really call 911 on someone who you think is passed out. You go up to them and it's like, oh, there's no life in this person, right? Like,
I don't know.
did they touch? I mean, that's so strange.
It is strange.
But
it gets stranger. It gets stranger.
Okay, because we react differently. And you know what I mean? I think when our brains kick on that fight or flight, we do strange things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Okay, so later court filings show that Dylan had tried calling Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie, but got no response. And this was, at the time, some footage from a security camera at a nearby home at 417 had detected distorted voices, a whimper followed by a thud, and a barking dog. And this is important because Kaylee had a dog, and the dog was in her old room across the hall while she was in Maddie's room.
Okay.
And while not explicitly documented in the sources that I found for this story, I'm guessing this was after Dylan saw the masked intruder leave the house. So it was very likely that she was too afraid to come out of her room for a while. I don't know how much alcohol may have played a factor in the lapse of time before calling 911. There's just a lot of questions. But when her messages and calls went unanswered, she and Bethany began a texting string, which gave me the impression that perhaps Bethany had witnessed something as well, because she referenced seeing someone in all black, it freaking her out and thinking it was Xana. So like rationalizing it, or it must have been one of the roommates. Also don't know how that's possible because this is a tall, skinny dude.
Yeah.
But then there's another text where Dylan is trying to get Bethany to understand that the person was wearing a ski mask. So it is a bit confusing, which is probably a testament to their state of mind during the situation. Bethany then tries to convince Dylan to run to her room so at least they'd be together. And they clearly, again, sensed something was seriously wrong. And then that's when they went to sleep, woke up, called a neighbor. And
that part's even crazy to me, too. And I hope that I am never in any situations like this. But how do you go to sleep? When you feel like something is like severely wrong?
I think back to my college days, the amount of alcohol abuse that I engaged in.
Yeah.
I
never slept well when I was intoxicated, ever.
Oh, Lord. So first responders arrive and discover that, of course, 4 students had been very brutally attacked and slaughtered. Investigators begin examining the crime scene, and next to Maddie's body, they find the sheath to this fixed blade hunting knife, but they don't find the murder weapon anywhere in the house. So this at least gives them a starting point. And lucky for them, there is visible DNA on the teeny tiny little single snap of the sheath where it would secure the handle. And so they enter the DNA profile into CODIS, and they do not get a hit. So they take a gamble and submit the DNA found at the crime scene to an investigative genetic genealogy database, and they do get a hit for the DNA, presenting a statistical match to the Kohberger family tree. They find some close cousins, so they know that someone from this family tree likely committed the murders. And they find this pretty quickly. So this is a huge blessing.
I have to tell you before we move on. You keep saying sheath, and in the horse world, the sheath on a gelding or on a male horse is the sheath over, like you have to clean their sheaths further.
Oh. I did not know this.
Yeah. So it's like, it ruins me because it's like my husband also, like he's got like they have hunting knives and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I want to get a new sheath for this. And now every time somebody says sheath, that's where my mind
Okay,
goes.
don't cut that out. That's pretty funny. The whoo-hoo. I can't whistle like that. All right. Kate, do not cut that out. Okay. So while the DNA search was going on, they pulled video camera footage from neighborhood, like homes around the area where the murders occurred. And they see, oddly, a car captured in various videos on all these cameras, a white Hyundai Elantra that appears to be canvassing the neighborhood for weeks ahead of the murders and coming back to the house the same morning of the murders after they'd happened. So they put a bolo out on this car, and within 4 days of the murder, they find a white Hyundai Elantra registered to Bryan Kohberger. Okay. But his name means absolutely nothing to them at the time. And while they're looking at the other 22,000 registered Elantras, that was when the genealogy data came back with the hit on the Kohberger family tree. And they're like, ding, ding, ding. Can you imagine how freaking exciting that would be after, being put on this investigation for something that was so pointless and horrific? Oh, man. So the same name as the registered owner of the car that had been in the neighborhood before and during the murders. Like, what are the odds that this is a coincidence, right? Okay. Yeah. So search warrants were issued for Bryan's phone, and they started tracking him. He'd gone home for Christmas, for the Christmas holiday break. So the murders had happened around Thanksgiving. Okay, so he'd gone home for the Christmas holiday break. Detectives took some of the family's trash that had been placed out on the curb for collection. Totally fair game. And they find a Q-tip. They test it for DNA, and the DNA was linked to Bryan's father. And they knew that the DNA on the Q-tip was likely to identify the father of whomever left the DNA on the knife sheath. Oh. Voila, they arrest Bryan the next day. So now they have the prime suspect in custody. They piece together the rest of the evidence, which paints a pretty compelling picture of his actions and his intentions leading up to the murders. Now, first, let me tell you, Bryan Kohberger was a PhD level criminology student. Did you catch that? Okay. Who submitted a very detailed paper for his predoctoral application on crime scene processing, which will make everything I have to share with you from this point forward very ironic. So he carried out a research project, quote, to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime, end quote. Investigation proved he bought the same kind of knife sheath that was found at the crime scene. He bought it from an Amazon gift card, perhaps thinking that would leave less of a trail or no trail as opposed to a credit card. He made this purchase in March of 2022. Beginning in July of 22 and going through November 7th, his cell phone pinged 23 times in that neighborhood, yet he lives 10 miles away.
And he doesn't have friends in that neighborhood?
Correct.
Okay.
The night of the murders, his phone pinged 2 to 3 times between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. A traffic stop placed him in the neighborhood on August 22nd. In the early hours of November 13th, his phone left his residence in a central northwest part of Pullman. The phone turned off at 2:54 a.m. and remained off until 4:48 on the day of the murders. Video surveillance from the highway caught his car entering Moscow at 3:02 a.m. Compiled video surveillance shows his car circling the neighborhood starting at around 3:30 a.m. His car arrives into the dead end where the 1122 house was at 4:05. His car enters that area, stops at an intersection, comes in and parks behind and above this house. Bryan is then believed to have entered the kitchen sliding door in the residence, and I've already covered what happens after that. There was no evidence of sexual assault on any of the victims.
Just pure hate, basically.
Well, I'll get to my theory later. I don't think this went according to his plans.
Okay.
That's what I'll say.
Okay.
So at 4:20 a.m., 15 minutes later, his car is caught on a neighbor's camera leaving at a high rate of speed. Then he drives on back roads thinking he's being smart because, I mean, he is a PhD criminologist student, right? And because there are traffic cameras on the main highway, so he thinks he's being really clever. At 4:48, and trust me, when I get to his like personality profile, nothing I'm saying is out of sorts here.
Okay.
This is not just my conjecture.
Okay.
He's a pompous prick.
Okay.
4:48, his phone is turned back on in a location south of Moscow. He arrives back north in Pullman, where his apartment is, at 5:26 a.m. Now, I think we should nominate this guy for the Einstein Award, which is going to be a new thing I'm making up right now, because that same morning at 9 o'clock, his phone returns to the scene of the crime and then goes back to his apartment again. So the question is, was this return to the scene because the idiot forgot the knife sheath?
Right.
Or was it because psychopaths often like to go view the fallout of the havoc that they cause and derive some kind of sick, sometimes sexual pleasure from it?
Well, when you originally said that he went back the second time, that's what I thought it was, is because we so often...
He had that oh shit moment, like, I'm so smart, and then...
No, I thought he was going back to admire to see the destruction, like to see if, like what has transpired since he did his deed.
Yeah, who knows?
Do you know what I mean? Like to get off on it, not knowing that he forgot, like not thinking that it was just the sheath.
Yeah.
Could have been both.
And maybe
though.
he didn't realize he'd forgotten it yet. Like, I don't know. Detectives also find later evidence of him trying to alter his purchase history on Amazon, which makes me laugh. He also went to the DMV in Pullman to change his car registration from Pennsylvania to Washington, because that's where his family lives, is in PA, likely because Pennsylvania cars do not require a front license plate. Searches of his apartment and that white Elantra yielded nothing except the fact that everything had been meticulously cleaned, like way beyond. They talked about like this, you know, how like in your car seams.
Yeah, sometimes there's dust or crumbs or whatever. Yeah.
Nothing anywhere. Meticulous, like detailing on steroids.
Yeah.
So he also spoke to a distant neighbor about the murders, maybe flexing a little.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
like in a third person, like not involved. Like he wasn't involved. Like, have you heard about these murders? Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, isn't that cool?
What a turd.
Anyway, but it bit him in the ass. So a criminal mastermind, he is not. He wasn't clearly done. He needed more education, I guess. But just enough of a criminal to cause irreversible devastation to these families, to the community. Some of the other circumstantial evidence that is still pretty compelling. In the 6 weeks it took law enforcement to find him, he went from kind of a hard-assy, hard-to-get-along-with guy to disheveled.
Oh.
He also got pulled over twice within 9 minutes for tailgating on the interstate from Washington back to Pennsylvania, where his family lived, as he was going back for the holidays. So, again, circumstantial, but it looks like he was really trying to put some distance between.
Yeah, almost like his conscience is getting at him a little bit.
I think it's the knife sheath. I got evidence. That sheath is going to do
that
me in.
too, but like that dang sheath.
Yeah, it's always the sheath. All right, more investigating reveals that the two of the roommates, Santa and Maddie, worked at a Greek restaurant, and there was evidence of Bryan visiting this restaurant multiple times leading up to the murders. The prosecution suggests he may have used social media to enter their lives, do some recon, figure out where they lived, because they were the party house, so it was not going to be easy to or hard to track down where they lived. Always parties going on there. And so, like, kind of very easy to get a glimpse into their comings and goings while concocting his plan.
Well, and I think that breaking into a house that's got that many people in it to even harm one person, like that is pretty risky, I would think.
I wonder, though, like, if he was really doing recon, he may have known that Kaylee had already moved out and didn't expect her to be staying the night.
Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I just feel, I don't know.
Okay, there are also reports, this is where it ties a lot to some of the stories we've covered before, that he had a problem with women at the college he attended and allegedly had a very sexist attitude towards females. This was so problematic that just before the murders, he was fired from his teaching assistant job at Washington State University, days prior to his arrest for the murders. And these behaviors escalated in the days and weeks after the murders. He was already being investigated by the university due to his rudeness towards women and grading them differently from male students.
Jeepers.
He also allegedly was very disrespectful to the professor he was a teaching assistant for, like maybe oppositional defiance disorder on top of all the things that are wrong with this man. Mm-hmm. One report even claimed that he was argumentative and belligerent, which could point to narcissism and the need to be right and or superior. On October 21st, for example, this professor told him he was failing to meet expectations. On November 2nd, he met with the professor to discuss an improvement plan, and on December 7th, he met yet again with the professor about the improvement plan and still got into yet another altercation with him 2 days later. Guy cannot learn his lesson.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
It's superiority. You cannot be wrong. On December 19th, finally, professor had had enough. He was fired from his TA position. Prior to entering his PhD program, he studied criminology at DeSales University, which is a private Catholic university in Pennsylvania. Here he worked with renowned forensic psychologist Catherine Ramsland, who interviewed Dennis Rader. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
Have you heard of the BTK serial killer?
No.
Oh, God.
I don't probably want to know.
They call him BTK because he binds, tortures, and kills.
Nope.
It's really horrific. So, but Catherine had written multiple books, and it makes me wonder if it romanticized serial killing for him, because we know he's sick, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he was on his way to becoming one and just botched it during the first one, or maybe he'd done this before and got cocky and slipped up, so it was his last one. Either way, police were asking these same questions, but they couldn't find any unsolved cases leading back to Bryan in any way.
Mm-hmm. Well, and don't serial killers, I mean, maybe this isn't the rule, but a lot of times it seems like when they've studied them, if there are, they kind of almost hold those killings as like their property, right? Like it's their prize.
Yeah.
And so if they have them, I think over time, especially if you're in prison and there's unsolved murders, it's kind of like it's their thing that I don't know if they can sit on that forever, like keeping it to themselves. Like I feel like they like to kind of
rights.
Yeah, they kind of like to maybe not tell you where it is, but they'll kind of dangle it in front of the detectives. I don't know. So maybe he's not. Maybe he's not a serial killer, or he was going to be, but he really botched his first.
Or maybe he just really wanted to deep dive into like taking his whatever dissertation thesis, whatever he did earlier, the study, and like to a whole new level. Who knows? But the guy's a moron, because that morning when he got back to the crime scene around 9, remember I said he came back?
Yeah.
At 9:30 that morning, after he got back to his apartment yet again, he snaps a picture of himself giving a thumbs up and posting it to social media. So this idiot's probably trying to establish that he was somewhere else, but it ended up validating the claim of one of their survivors about the state of his bushy eyebrows later.
Oh, sure.
She could see those through the ski mask. And so there's the picture, him and his bushy freaking eyebrows. So again, may have been a PhD student, but not all that bright for smart as he seemed to think he was. In Idaho, if convicted, he was facing the death penalty by firing squad. His legal team tried and failed 13 times to get the death penalty taken off the table. Finally, on July 2nd, 2025, Bryan Kohberger entered a guilty plea in exchange for taking the death penalty off the table. The Judge Hippler, asks, "Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?" Yes, Kohberger says, just stone-faced. These videos were creepy. If convicted, all sentences were going to run consecutively, and I'll get to that at another point here, without the possibility of parole, and he would have to waive his right to an appeal or seek leniency due to the heinousness of his crimes, according to the judge. Some families were supportive of the plea deal. Others were irate about it. Mm-hmm. And again, people grieve in different ways. Yeah. Some just wanted to move on. Some wanted their pound of flesh. Like, I get it. There's no right or wrong way about it. It just gets complicated the more people are involved. And I've been in those situations where, with tragedy and different families react different ways. And it's hard for the other people to navigate.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. they, trying to be respectful of everybody's wishes. And somebody's going to be upset with the way things are proceeding.
Oh, for sure.
And then as of February 24th, 23, the house where this all occurred was donated to the university and demolished, which I personally thought was a really beautiful touch. And I love the fact that the University of Idaho.
All right. Well, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you like what you heard today, which is hard, it's a hard story, but if it interests you, please share it with a friend who you think might also be interested in it. And be sure to follow and subscribe. It really does help us grow.
With your help, we can make a real difference in the world. Please, it would mean a lot to us if you take a moment and just leave us a 5-star review wherever you wherever you listening. Maybe Monday I'll be able to talk again too. Good Lord, this has been happening for weeks now. But and we say this not lightly, because broadening our reach means we can tap into ad revenue and bring that into One Heart, which is where we help people escape the unthinkable. You can also support our show by becoming a patron if you feel so moved. I mean, $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, supporting a freaking fantastic, never been done before cause that is just completely transforming lives. EscapePod.live is where you can become a patron. You can connect with us on our socials. You can send your thoughts to us on maybe this episode or horse sheaths. I don't know. Just because at EscapePod.live, I will forward those to Kara Beth. Or you can send your personal stories of escape to us at escapeartist@escapepod.live, and we might share them on a future episode.
Absolutely. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of the Escape Pod. Remember, trauma may be inevitable, but how you grapple with it is optional. So stay resilient.
And don't forget your knife sheath.
Just leave your knives
Keep
at
laughing.
home.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Say it.
Posthumously awarded degrees to all 4 victims.
Oh, I love that.
So when I wrote this, his defense, the trial wasn't over. Mm-hmm. So what they were most likely going to bring forward was a lot about Bryan's history that I'm guessing they thought would make jurors more sympathetic to him. Mm-hmm. And that's what we'll cover in part 2.
Are you looking for an early morning boost or that midday pick-me-up? Check out the Homebrew Coffee Shop, a coffee shop with a cause on the One Heart campus. At Homebrew, you'll find hope for a home in every cup. It's home to delicious coffee, sweet treats, breakfast, and lunch items. It's a great place to meet friends or host small group meetings. Homebrew is located at 201 Kansas City Street in Rapid City. Open Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll see you there.
So with that, I'm so sorry to do that to you. What are you going to run away from now? Or run to?
Run to.
Get away from me.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know. A book that I guess maybe watching Care Bears. Maybe that's what I'm going to go do.
Aww,
I'm going to go watch
still
some
do that?
Care Bears.
That's still a thing?
I don't know. Okay. I would like to find them at this
Okay.
point.
I bet you can find them on YouTube.
But yeah, we've had a lot going on. I'm sure there's plenty going on this weekend, but I think for me, with the wind, I'm still escaping the wind, and I'm hoping this weekend is nice. And maybe we'll be able to go out and spend some time with the horses and whatnot, because we've been so busy that during the week it's hard. You don't have time and then it gets dark and you can't.
Now I'm wondering, do you have male horses? Do you have to do sheath cleaning?
I'm not doing it.
You hire
yes,
people to do
we
that?
do.
Okay.
We have two geldings, which are male horses, and so both of them have to get those cleaned. But it's like when we go to get their
in the wild, do don't they? They don't. I don't.
They don't get that, but I don't know that they live quite as long either.
Okay.
So but so when we get their teeth done, we float their teeth, seeing the dentist, a lot of times the dentist will do that then too, or when you go get vaccinated, just different times they'll be like, "Do you want me to clean the sheath?" And it's like, "Yes, please," because I'm not doing it.
No, I'm good.
That's a big no, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, what about you? What are you escaping to?
The Springs. My husband's taking me to Moccasin Springs tomorrow. That's why I will not be at work.
That will be both mentally and physically healing, I think.
Freaking hope so. But I'm telling you what, if there is anybody there again who thinks they have to talk while you're in the Springs, I might drown somebody.
I hope not.
I hope not too. Because seriously,
Yeah.
there's signs everywhere. Quiet.
Just laser them with your eyeballs.
Oh, I have really mean laser eyes, don't I? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get them warmed up in case.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's what I'm escaping to. So
Well, I'm jealous. That sounds lovely.
it does sound lovely. I'm counting the minutes.
Yeah.
It'll be really lovelier. Lovelier, is that a word? Lovelier, yes. Really lovelier.
Is that a
Help
word?
me. I think I'm just being grammatically incorrect. I think lovelier is a word. But if I can sleep tonight
Yeah.
and then go to the springs in the morning,
Well,
oh my God, it's going to be a whole new world.
yeah.
Seriously.
Well, you got the grant in. I mean, I think you can. I think you can sleep.
I hope so.
Just do
Yes,
it. Just do it.
See, then the problem is then when I wake up. And at first I thought I was making progress because, okay, so I'd go to sleep pretty early. I go to bed early because I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
So early.
Or 3 or 2 or midnight. I just kept going early and earlier. So then it was like 11. I'm awake and then I can't sleep. Well, then I started making progress the other way. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, win! This is great. I mean, I came in like, yeah, I got like 3 hours of sleep. Watch out, world. And then last night, midnight again. I'm like, for the love. Really? And then the problem is that as I'm trying to get back to sleep, if my husband makes the smallest snoring noise, then I'm dealing with him. Or, and then if I'm distracted in any way, I just start thinking about work and I create 42 more things for myself to do that I didn't have time to think about when I'm busy with all the other stuff. So then I get on my phone and I make myself notes.
That's the worst.
So that I don't forget it. No, it's to get the
I
things
know,
down.
but like,
because like, oh, that's a good idea.
I used to do that too,
I
but
could research that. That's really smart. Let's do that.
I kind of have done this thing where it's like, if it needs to be done, even though, yes, in that moment it's a good idea, it will come back to me again. It'll come to me again. I just have to like let it go. Because if I get up and start making notes on my phone, I'm done for.
Yeah, well.
The other thing that I started doing, and I've never had insomnia as bad as what you're talking about, but is I'd lay there and I'd start thinking about things, and then it's like, oh, what if? And sometimes it's funny, but if I'm stressed and I'm doing this, then my brain starts to spiral in kind of a negative way. And what I've done is to counterbalance is I lay there and I just kind of like pray and like Thanksgiving. Like I make my mind think and like about things that I'm thankful and grateful for. And sometimes that's hard, but it's like the more I do that and then before I know it, because I just kind of keep thinking, and sometimes they're really simple. Like I'm so thankful for my girls. I'm thankful for our home. Like I even start off with simple everyday stuff and then I just keep going and it's like I'll fall back asleep.